Hello and thank you for watching. My name is John and this is section 5 in the crash course to my hair example. In this next few videos I'm actually going to show you how I actually work with hair. In addition, I'm actually going to talk about a few scripts I wrote to help me manipulate the hair via fields really quickly. First thing I needed to do was get reference, so I went to images.google.com, typed in hairstyles, and this is the first one I saw. So I'll be manipulating this one. The first thing I actually did with this is I actually broke it down into sections. As you can see here, the blue is what I actually defined as what is being affected by normal gravity. The green is a manipulation of some type. It is not affected by normal gravity. If you look closely, I'll zoom in here, you'll notice that her hair is parted, but if this was affected by normal gravity, it wouldn't be able to do this. So I put it in green here, and her bangs right here obviously is not gravity because it's being swayed to her left side over her eye. And hopefully in the end I'll get something very similar to this. This is kind of like a rough sketch, rough draft. I don't want to spend too much time on it. So here we go. This is a brand new scene file. Let's see what happens. From here on out, I've been working in 200% speed. At this current point in time, I am creating the head analog. Use a sphere, easy to work with in just the beginning. Although normally I would just work with box modeling. Just creating the eye placeholders, and I'm going to create the nose placeholders. The neck and the shoulder line. And the ear. Now I'm smoothing the normals, deleting the history, and putting a blend on the model itself. I'm going to get a pseudo skin color, that way it'll almost look like a human-like individual. And of course, rename everything. Naming everything is very important, not just in working with hair, but just as a 3D artist itself, whether it be modeling or rigging. At this current point in time, I'm making a NURB circle to the 1 degree so it's easy to work with. The reason I'm working with a NURB circle is because of its natural UV layout. I didn't duplicate the head to get the natural shade due to the sheer fact is I would have to actually do an unwrap. As you recall, the hair system works with the UV layout instead of just the 3D space. I put everything in the layers so I could work with the visibility, the template, and reference just on the fly, as I'll be doing that quite a bit. Alright, now I'm setting up my UI. As you can see, I brought out the hair menu, the display menu, and the start position menu. I even opened up the outliner to the left, as you saw, so I can work with that. At this current point in time, I'm making the hair set on the head. Since I like to work from scratch, I'm just going to completely delete the hair, and I want to paint it manually. Since it's the artisan paintbrush, I can just use the flood tool and bam, everything's gone, or whatever. I noticed I forgot the ear line for the scalp on the NURB, so I'm taking care of that right now. Unfortunately, with that being said, I'm going to have to rename everything, but it doesn't matter. Alright, now I'll be using the artisan paintbrush to actually be working with the hair node itself. I'm setting up the UVs on these paint. I'm going to be manually painting the hair follicles onto the model itself. And in all honesty, that is just a lot of UVs, but I already did it, so might as well work with it. I probably would have worked with 70 or so % of that, because that's just a lot. And as you can see, my computer is really starting to slow down a little bit, even at times too. So at this current point in time, I'm working with the sections of the hair that's going to only be affected by gravity. So I'm just doing everything in bulk at the moment. I'm going to the hair shape node and turning the display to 1 to help my computer out a little bit. I'm also tweaking the iterations and the stiffness so it'll actually work with the gravity a little bit better. Due to the shear effect, as I worked with deleting some of the faces on the NURBS surface, it left a layer, so I had to take care of that again. At this current point in time, I am making the constraints for the head, the ears, the neck, the nose, and the shoulder line. So the hair will actually go around that instead of going through the geometry. Getting the shoulder taken care of. And I'm hiding everything so I can work with everything in the view. And now that all the constraints are taken care of, I'm going to run a simulation, see if everything is working. Everything looks fine. Next, I added the air effect, so I can actually use the air itself to help me model the hair itself, instead of working with the gravity and stuff like that. That way, if I wanted to make a reverse mohawk, inverse mohawk, left side mohawk, diagonal mohawk, whatever mohawk I wanted to do, I can just work with a couple of parameters in one attribute, one node, instead of having to pause, switch attributes and all that stuff. Everything looks kind of relaxed, so it's time for me to move on to the next section. I selected the follicles and did from current, and now I'm going to be putting everything as a static follicle so I can work with something else while those things will stay in place. So I selected everything, used a script as applied earlier, as you can see. Now I'm going back to the Artisan Paint tool, adding more follicles for the next, for what I'll say, section of the hair that works with non-gravity. I upped the UVs a little bit because the scalp itself, as I found, will actually has a problem with balding if you're working with parts or you're working with making it combed over or something of the sort. Alright, I'm going to stop here and I will continue it in the next video.